Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My hair looks fabulous right now, a giant mess on top of my head. It's getting to that place where I'm just like, do I want to cut it or do I want to let it grow? It's just really getting annoying. Anyway, so I thought today would be fun to do a get ready with me. I feel like this time of year, makeup tutorials and get ready with me's that are like a no makeup look are super popular, and here lately that's kind of what I've been doing, so I thought I'd go through with you and show you what I've been using. I'm also working on doing a project pan for this year. I still need to film an update for it for February, and we are already in March, so doing good. But I thought I'd kind of do a get ready with me using the products that I'm using in my project pan, maybe talk a little bit about them. Also, just notice I didn't make my bed, so that looks fantastic. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and start off by priming, still using the NYX Born to Glow Illuminating Primer. I feel like this primer is like a never-ending bottle of primer. I've been using it since November, and we're now in March. It's just... it never stops. It just is continuous. I feel like I'm getting to the end of it. It's like any day now. Granted, I don't do my makeup every day, so that's probably why it's lasting so long. Excuse me. I just had a coughing fit, and now I feel like I have a frog in my throat. So anyway, yeah, this is just like the never-ending tube of primer. I feel like when I was using my favorite primer, which is from e.l.f., it's their green silicone-based primer, I feel like I go through that stuff so quickly. And... so this guy I've had for months, so I guess there's something to be said for how much product you're getting and how long it lasts, but I'm not sure that I really love this primer. It's not really a formula that I care for. I like a silicone base, and this is not a silicone base. I would guess this is probably a water-based primer, so it doesn't really leave your skin feeling silky at all, which is what I like from my primer, is my skin feels silky. This does give a nice glow to the skin, so for that factor, I do like that. And I think if you have really dry skin, you'd really like this because it's going to add some glow to your face. But I still prefer my silicone. Like if this was a silicone base, I'd be loving it. So that's like my only qualm with the product itself. So this foundation, I feel like I'm just never going to get through it. It's not that I dislike it, I've just not been interested in wearing foundation lately, really. So I just thought I'd touch on it really quickly and throw it out there. I don't know why it felt like an important thing to touch on. It's not like I'm doing my project pan update right now, but yeah, it's just I'm finding it forever to get through him. He's the Avon True Colors foundation. It's a good foundation if you are like putting it all over your face. I just like haven't been wanting that much makeup lately. So anyways, concealer I've been using is from Too Faced, and it's the Born This Way concealer, and I like it pretty well. It's pretty good. Put it in the normal spots. So I'm pretty excited for this evening because our local library is putting on an Easter egg hunt, and I'm taking my son to it. And he did an egg hunt last year at the church, but he was so little. I don't even think he was a year old yet. No, he had been like 8 months maybe. So like I think he got like 3 eggs. He wasn't really old enough to get it. And I don't know if he's going to understand it this year or not either. We'll see. But I'm excited to take him to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I've really been getting into like the library programs. If you guys have a local library, like you should seriously check it out for their programs, because mine has some really awesome stuff. Like even for people without kids, like they have like a sewing class if you want to learn how to use a sewing machine. There's things for like ancestry if you want to track like your heritage. There's quilting. They have like all kinds of different like activities. Yeah, I don't know. We're kind of getting off on like a nerdy ramble here, but I've really been enjoying the library since having my son. There's just so many activities for kids of all ages. So I'm still using the NYX Highlight and Contour palettes, working on this guy right here. I've made quite a bit of progress. Definitely hit pan. I think it has to do with this brush though. It's like a domy bristle brush, and it is like a coarser bristle, and I feel like it picks up more powder. But I love using this for setting under my under eyes. And I don't even know where to link it or how you can buy it, because it came in a gift set from Sam's Club. So it's not like something that is just readily available, which sucks because it's a really good brush. So do you guys want to hear the crazy stuff that's been going on lately? Like, I don't know, I kind of feel bad bringing it up, but like on the other hand, it does affect me, so like I should be able to talk about it. Right? I know, that's kind of how I feel. So anyway, there's this guy that's been hanging around our back alley, and I swear he's on drugs, or maybe he's mentally ill, I don't really know. But I seen him the first time last week. I'm going to go ahead and set the rest of my face using my Almay Time Off Pressed Powder. I don't think, whoa. I had my foot against my vanity and a whole hunk of wood just popped off. What the heck? Okay. Anyway. I don't think you can find this powder anymore. But this guy, kind of weird jumping around here, but this guy, I seen him the other day. I was coming home and I came in my back alley, and my neighbor has a privacy fence that runs alongside of a business that's near a highway. And there she has like a cinder block that sits at the end of this fence, because people come around the corner of this business into the back alley and they go super fast. They're not paying any attention. And she had a car sitting back there that was her son's that needed to get repossessed, and she was afraid it was going to get hit. So, because people were like cutting the corner and coming really close to the car. So we gave her a cinder block that we had. We actually gave her a lot of cinder blocks, but most of them have been broken by people running them over. That's how fast they're going around the corner here. And there was one cinder block. So there was one cinder block left. We're going to bring you down a little bit. So there was one cinder block left. And I came around the corner, pulling into the alleyway to go park in my parking space. And there's this guy sitting on that cinder block, and technically he is like on the property line of this business and my neighbor's backyard, but he's facing into my neighbor's backyard. And I drive past him and he looks up and he kind of waves at me, but he's twitching the whole time. Like, he looks like he's tweaking. And I just got real bad vibes. And I had my son in the back seat, and I'm like, I'm not even playing with this. No. So I pulled around to the front of the house. And I can't go in the front of the house because we don't have keys to the screen door. We come and go from the back. Probably giving out too much information there. But anyway, that's what we do. And I go sit in the front and I call the cops. And I call the non-emergency hotline because, like, it's not an emergency. Like, if somebody's being murdered, that needs to take precedence over this, you know. But it still needs to be taken care of. So I call the cops. Someone comes out pretty quickly. And, like, I'm sitting in my front, and I tell them everything. I'm like, this guy is back here sitting on a cinder block in a red shirt between my neighbor's property and the business. He looks like he's tweaking. I don't feel safe getting out of the car. I'm parked in the front of my house, but I have to go in the back door. And we don't have we don't have a fence or anything. It's all open. So, like, getting into my car to get my son out, I feel like it puts me at a vulnerable position where, like, if this guy decided he wanted to attack me, like, he could do that. So, because our yards are small. Like, it wouldn't take nothing for him to run over to my yard. So, you know, I call the cops and I tell them this. And they're like, okay, like, I don't blame you. Like, stay where you're at and we'll send somebody out. Well, I see somebody pull out of the front parking lot. I seen the cop pull out from the front parking lot of this business. And, because, like, you know, the front half of the business faces out into my street, and then the back half faces into the back alley. Makes sense? So, anyway, I'm parked in the front of my house. I can see the parking lot for this business from my house. and I see the cop pull out, and I think, okay, they went and took care of it. And the cops' windows were tinted, and when they drove by, like, I couldn't see inside, so I don't know. I didn't know if they'd picked him up or, like, what. But I figured, you know, he's got to be on something. He really looks like he is. So, oh, and during this time frame, I sent my neighbor a message, the one whose yard he's sitting in, practically. And I say, hey, there's this guy sitting in your backyard. He looks like he's tweaking. Don't come outside. And I see the cop pull out, and I think, okay, he's gone. And so I pull around through the business parking lot, and I see that he's still sitting there on the center block. So I leave. I go to my parents' house. I'm like, I'm not getting out and dealing with this. Like, that guy is not, there's something wrong with him. Like, it's just gut instinct plus what I've seen looking at him. Like, he just looks like there's something wrong with him. And I go to my parents, and we go there for several hours. And then my neighbor ends up sending me a text that says, hey, I'm just seeing your message because I left my phone at my boyfriend's house. And she's like, yeah, I heard somebody out there screaming and yelling. And so I went outside to go get in my car, and I seen him, and, like, he was kind of incoherent. Like, he was asking her for something, but she couldn't really understand what he was saying. So she just, like, jumped in his car and left. Or jumped in her car and left. And she was like, I'm back home now, and he's gone. So I came back home. The next day, I think it was the next day, maybe it was 2 days later, I was outside with my son. We had really nice weather, and we're, like, outside playing on some of his toys that he has. And sometimes my son, like, he's real little. If you're new to my channel, he's a year and a half. And sometimes he'll do this game. We'll play a game where he'll say, hey, and then I'll say, hey. Like, we'll just do that back and forth. And we were doing that, and then all of a sudden I heard somebody on the other side of this property fence say, hey, kind of like, I don't think he knew we were even there, to be honest with you. But kind of like he knew he was hearing voices. That's just kind of like the feeling I got from it. And he comes around the corner and sits down on his center block and is, like, talking to himself. And I don't think he even seen us. I don't think he's even aware that we're there. Again, the yards are small, like, so I don't know how he missed us, but I don't think he even realized we were there. And he's just, like, talking to himself, and I really think that he heard us talking and thought it was in his head or something. And I don't know. But I grabbed my kid up, and we went right inside. I left, like, my cup outside. I left my ball, I left my son's ball outside. I just left everything outside. I'm like, I'm not even playing with this. I grabbed him and we went, because, like I said, there's just a gut instinct that there's something wrong with this guy. And of course the text from my neighbor kind of confirms he's got some problems, because no sane person stands on somebody's backyard screaming. Like, that's not normal. So I don't know why the cops didn't pick him up. Like, I don't know if he was just sober and is mentally ill, and since he was sober the cops didn't do anything. Like, because technically, like, he's not doing anything illegal. It's kind of weird that he's practically in my neighbor's backyard, but technically he's sitting on the property line, so it's kind of like, I don't know. But like I said, there's something wrong with this guy. And so I grab my kid up and we go inside, and I told my husband, I'm like, hey, this guy's back out here. When you come home, can you bring in, like, my cup and the ball and everything we left out there? And so he does, and the guy eventually leaves. He's gone before my husband even gets home. And that night, my husband and I went down and moved the center block. I moved it around the corner of the privacy fence, so it's fully on this business's property. And so I'm like, you know, if he wants to go sit on his center block, he can do it all day long, but he can do it on this side, not on, you know, the side of my neighbor's yard. Which my neighbor is an older woman. She's probably pushing her 70s is my guess. Not that it's anybody's business, but anyway. So yeah, we moved the center block. Notice that fence had been hit, because it's, like, leaning real hard. Someone slammed into that pretty good. People just drive like they're dumb. Like, why? You're in a residential area. I don't care that there's a business right here by the highway. It's surrounded by people's houses. Like, why are you flying in and out right here? Like, seriously, there are children on the street. Like, more than just mine. There are kids here. And, like, older kids who play. And, like, there's this guy who drives a motorcycle up and down the street, and he goes so fast. Like, every time I hear him come down the street, I'm like, he's gonna die. Like, that's my first instinct. That's how fast he's going down our street. And he just, like, zips around off the highway and just goes so fast. And I'm like, oh my god, he's just gonna crash. He's gonna, because at the end of the street it, like, curves. I'm like, he's gonna get down there and not be able to do it, and he's just gonna die. Like, that's just what's gonna happen. Like, because he's going so fast. Like, I don't understand. Anyway, yesterday, I had a super early garage sale meet for Facebook, selling some stuff. And I think I met this lady at like 8 in the morning. Ass cracking on, in my opinion. Other people might feel differently, but like, I don't get out of bed till 8, 8:30. So like, getting up at like 7:45, that's early for me. So, anyway. Can you hear my son? He's out there playing with his xylophone. So, oh, the blush I just used is from Pacifica, and it's in Wild Rose. It's from an Ipsy bag, and honestly, I'm not sure if it's a blush or an eyeshadow, but I like it for a blush, so that's what I use it for. It doesn't really have any instructions on the back, just has the name. And then the bronzer I used is Park Avenue Princess from Tarte. So just in case anybody's wondering, my makeup stuff hasn't changed up that much lately. I'm really trying to use up things that I've had for a while. So yesterday, as I said, we had a garage sale meet, and I don't know why I'm going into this much detail because it like you won't even know what I'm talking about. But after the garage sale meet, I took my son to McDonald's to get breakfast and let him play in like the play area. I'm like, you know, it's rainy, it's nasty out, we're up this early anyways. Just let him go run the morning in McDonald's like inside play place, let him get some energies out. And so on the way to my parents' house, I had to go pick up my mom's dog so I could groom her. We cut through the downtown area, which isn't too far from where we live. It's like a mile, so it's within walking distance. And I see the guy. And this guy has a really unique look to his face, so he's pretty easy to identify. I don't want to be mean, but he borderline looks like he got slapped with an ugly stick. And I don't know if he's on drugs and maybe that's why his face looks messed up, or if it's because he's mentally ill and that just has to do with it, or it's just, it looks like there's something wrong with him. Like seriously, he doesn't look, it's not like he's deformed, but he's not just like an, oh, you're not attractive. It's like there's something wrong. Like it doesn't look normal, like his face. That sounds so mean, but it's the truth. Like, it just doesn't look normal. Like, I don't, you know, sometimes people have mental illnesses and they have other, like, physical ailments. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if he's done so many drugs that it's messed up his face. His face just doesn't look normal. And so, I see him. I see he's got, like, a paper bag under his arm. I can only assume it's got booze in it because I see people up and down my street all the time. Drinking out in public is illegal, okay? Everybody knows this. I don't know why people think that putting a bottle of vodka in a paper bag and holding it by the neck, walking around drinking it, suddenly nobody's gonna know what you're doing. Everybody knows what you're doing. They know you're boozing. Like, just go ahead and hold your vodka bottle. Get rid of the paper bag. It's not needed. Everybody knows what's going on. That's what this guy was doing. Except he wasn't holding it by the neck. He had it like tucked under his arm. And what he was holding in his hand, looking for my highlighter here, this is NYX Duo Chromatic, and the color is Snow Rose. It's so pretty. I love this highlighter. So what he's holding in his hand is like a really tall drink can. Like, I don't know what kind of drink it was, but tall, like, you know, like an Arizona tea drink can is really tall. One of those. Like, I don't know if it was Arizona tea. I don't think it was. It looked like there was like a gray label on it. I'm just like super aware of everything, like my surroundings lately, since seeing this guy hanging around, just because, like I said, there's just something not right about him. So I don't like want to let my guard down. I'm like super aware of everything. I think it's because I'm a mom. Like, I gotta protect my kid. So I see him, and he's got this can, and there was smoke coming out of this can, like out of the lid of this can. And I'm pretty sure he made himself a little homemade bong. Bong, B-O-N-G, bong. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. Bong? I think so. A smoking apparatus. And I don't know what kind of drugs he had in there. I don't know what all can you smoke out of a bong. I know you can do weed. I mean, I guess he could be having, what's it called? Hookah? I guess. If those come out. But don't you have to have like a special bong for hookah? I thought you had to have like a special hookah bong. I don't think it could just be like anything. I don't know. I don't partake in any of these things, but there was smoke coming out of the top of that can, and I'm pretty sure, just because I've been to some parties and I've seen people use Coke cans to make bongs, just saying, I'm pretty sure that's what he had it for. Granted, the ones I've seen at parties was like they were empty Coke cans and like smashed flat, and so like the part where you drink out of was like still rounded, and then they put a hole They put the weed in and they hit it from this end. I sound like I'm a druggie. I sound like I've done this stuff. I haven't. I've just been around other people that have done it. I've never done it myself. It's not something I'm interested in doing. Not since I had that mess up with my ankle when I was a kid and I had to get off Oxy and Hydros, and that was like prescription. I don't mess with anything that is possibly addictive. So I'm just so freaked out by it. So anyway, he wasn't doing that with it. It looked like a normal Coke can, like he would be drinking out of it, except there's smoke coming out the top. So like, I don't know how that works. He had something in there, obviously. I mean, I guess it's possible he put a cigarette in there and it was smoking out, but it was a lot of smoke. So I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. Crazy thing is there was like cops like right there. So like, not the sharpest tool in the shed if he's doing that right in front of cops. Talking about drug people who are not smart. None of them are smart. But, here's my eyeshadow primer. It's a put a lid on it. I really like this primer. It's from the Balm. It's like a silicone primer, which I like. So, when I was a kid, like teenager age range, I like lived in a neighborhood that was like, it was really big, and like the thing to do was go walking, right? Like nothing better to do, let's all go walking with your friends, and we just do laps around the neighborhood and just walk. And I was walking with a friend. We didn't get very far down the street, and we seen all the cops. Like the street that I grew up on was like, it was straight, and then like it had like a cul-de-sac, and then continued on. And we see like all these cops in the cul-de-sac, and we're walking on the other side of the street, and we're kind of being nosy and looking like, what's going on? We're kind of like, we're walking, like we don't want to be totally like rubbernecking and just stop and stare, but on the other hand, like we're curious. So we're like seeing what's going on. And so I'm going to be taking this eyeshadow from the Lorac Pro palette. The color is Cream, and I'm just going to be setting my eyes all over with that color right there. And we're walking a little bit further, and after the cul-de-sac, there's like 2 more houses and then the end of the street. The house at the very end of the street, like these people are out in the yard, and we know they sell pot. We know they do pot. Like we don't know them personally, but like was one of the drug dealers. And people would talk about it in school, and like this is where you go get your pot at, and like it was just, people talked about it. So we knew what these ladies did. And they were out in their yard freaking out. One of them looked like she was high, like just the things she was saying. I'm trying to remember everything, it's been so long ago, but I'm pretty sure was high. And I think they might have been like a couple, I don't know. But so I don't know if it was her girlfriend or just a friend. I don't know. Not that any of that matters. But, here we go. So I'm going to be taking another color out of this palette, and it's called Champagne. This color right here. And we're just going to pack that all over the lid. Just give it like a nice little glittery something. So she's out in like the yard, and they both are. And the cops are clearly like, it looks like they're doing a drug bust. I think that's what they're saying. Because like we didn't really know what the cops were doing, but we walked past these ladies and they're in their yard, and like they're like literally, it's like to their house, a neighbor's house, and then the cul-de-sac. And like on the other side of the cul-de-sac is like where the entrance is, right? Like so their house, neighbor's house, entrance to cul-de-sac, house getting busted. Right. So like it's real close. And they're outside and we can hear them, and they're like, they're busting him, they're getting him, blah 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 blah, oh my god, and like talking about their own weed, like, but they're talking to each other, but they're so loud about it. And it's like, yo, are you trying to get busted too? Like, what are you doing? Not smart people, clearly. Like, that's not something you, if you are a drug dealer or a user, if you just have drugs on you and your neighbors are getting busted for drugs, what you don't do is go stand in the front yard and yell about your own drugs, unless you're just wanting to get busted, right? Like, you haul your ass inside and stay there. And so my friend and I just got a kick out of it. We were just like, because these ladies were like so loud about, my nose is itchy. They were so loud about it, and like we were just kind of watching the whole thing. And they were just like so loud about, like, it seemed like they were oblivious to anybody. It's like they were oblivious to us being there. That's what drugs do to you. They just mess you up. And they just like didn't seem to realize we were there walking and watching everything. It's like they didn't think the cops could hear them, even though they're like 3 houses down. Like, what are you doing? You know? And people are dumb. So, mascara I've been using lately is Smashbox Full Exposure. I like it okay. I think it's decent. I'm going to set my face first, though. I forgot to do that. So, this is the Wet n Wild Finishing Spray. Natural Finish Setting Spray. Blah, blah, blah. I think it works well. I hate the way it smells. It stinks. But I love the, is it called an aspirator? I don't think that's the right word. I knew this word. The nozzle. Okay, the nozzle on this guy. It lets off such like a fine spray. I really like it. I've had other ones like, I think it's NYX that I've tried, that I liked the spray. It smelled nice, but it blew chunks on my face. And the there's one from Elf that's a hit or miss. Like sometimes you get one and it works like a dream. Other times you get one and it just like hits you with chunks. So I'll probably keep, I think that's actually my second bottle of the Wet n Wild one. I think it's worth buying. Just hold your breath. Don't breathe it in. It passes quickly. So for my eyebrows, I've been using this product from Inspire. You get two different shadows in there. You get a lighter one and you get a darker one. I kind of use a mix of them for my brows. It's called Dark Brown. My e.l.f. powder finally gave up the ghost. I was trying to continue to use it. I really wanted to use it up. I had it for like 3 years. And the last time I went to use it, it just stunk. Oh my god, it stunk. And that's kind of what I go with on products. I know they all like have a little timestamp on the bottom that says like 12 months or 24 months. The way I go with it is, does it smell bad? Does it irritate my skin? Does it taste bad? That one's for lipsticks. And like, is the formula changing, discoloring, stuff like that. If that's what's going on, then I get rid of it. Otherwise, I keep it. I feel like they continue to work just fine. Other people have different opinions on that. That's okay too. So, anyway, growing up, living in the neighborhood that I lived in, I seriously wanted to get out so bad. I wanted out. I didn't want to live there. Like, you heard so many bad things about that neighborhood. It was the white ghetto. White trash lives there. Nothing but drug addicts. The kids are, they're called hoodlums. I don't want to give out like specifics. It was the name of the neighborhood and then hoodlums. Or street rats. Like, you heard all that stuff. The school system was bad. It was the worst one in the city, and you don't want to go there, which I loved that school. I loved going to that school. But, and I actually want my son to go there. Like, I loved it. I thought it was really good. I'm dyslexic. I have, like, learning disabilities, and they, like, at the time, I don't know how it is now, but when I was going there, like, the special education program was fantastic. Like, they helped me so much, and I loved it. But, like, that's I don't know that the rumors really fly the way they used to about the school, but there was not a lot of good things were said, which is a shame because it was like a really good school. At least I thought it was. I liked going there. But the neighborhood just like had a bad rap and a lot of bad things were said about it. And so growing up, I wanted to get out. I didn't want to live there. I wanted to get out. And now that I'm out, I'm like, I want back in. I want back in. Like, I never seen alcoholics and drug addicts just, like, randomly walking the street when I lived out there. That wasn't a thing. I mean, well, there was one guy who was an old man and an alcoholic, and he'd ride us riding lawnmower around the neighborhood in the middle of the night drinking booze. He was pretty harmless. And there, of course, you had houses that sold drugs, but you're going to find that anywhere you go. And so, like, we knew about the place at the end of the street, and we had some that moved in next to us, and they never lasted long. But now that I live where I live now, like, I don't know, it's, I hate to play race and get that all involved, but a black ghetto versus a white ghetto is worlds different. I don't know that the neighborhood I grew up in really counts as a ghetto, but that's what a lot of people said, was like poor, low income, white families lived there. White ghetto, that's what it was called. And then on the other side of the town, closer to where I live now, is more of like the black ghetto, where like low income, poor black families live. And living on this end of town is a lot rougher. Like I said, we had that random guy just like sitting in, and I'm not even like in that area yet. You know, like I'm close, but I'm not like in the black ghetto. I'm like on the outskirts. And we have so many people just walking up and down the street, like literally just holding bottles of booze, smoking whatever they want. Like people who seem like they're mentally ill. Last night I seen a thing on my Facebook, not my Facebook, on my town's scanner page. There's people who post like all the emergency things that get called in. There was somebody just like a couple streets over from me outside with an axe telling everybody that he was the second coming of Christ. We didn't get that in the white ghetto, okay? Like we thought we were hot shit and that was a rough neighborhood. No, I want back in. Send me back. Like, and then my friend, she lived over in like the black ghetto area, and I call it that because yeah, you got like whites and blacks, but it's predominantly black. And then I call the white ghetto because it's predominantly whites, but you have black people and Hispanic, but it's predominantly white. So that's where you get the split. I'm not trying to be racist about it, it's just that's how it is. And anyway, my friend lived over like in the middle of it, and there was like, she moved from Chicago to get away from Chicago, and there was, I'm trying to put my lipstick on, okay, sorry. This is, I think the color is Bark, yeah, and it's from e.l.f. It's like a little lip liner, and this is from NYX Lingerie, and color is in Baby Doll. This guy is just like, I love it, but it never ends. It's like the never-ending lipstick. So she literally had to pull a gun on somebody. Granted, I had to pull a gun on somebody when I lived in the neighborhood I grew up in, but that person I knew, and I thought he was going to attack me. She came outside and found some random guy, and I think he had a gun too. And I don't remember the story she told me because it's been 5+ years ago, but she had to pull a gun on somebody and tell him to get off her property. And then around the same time frame, there was some guy who was, I don't remember if it was two men or one, but they were like literally going on like a shooting spree. And I think a couple people did die, but more than anything, like people got hit with bullets like in their extremities, like their legs or their arms, so they were injured. But I think she said it was just a couple of houses down from her, the guy who had been like shooting people finally shot himself and was like laying in the middle of the yard of this house, like just a little bit ways down from her, and she had to like shield her kids from that. And like that didn't happen where I grew up. Like that, there's such a drastic difference. There really is. And thankfully that madness has pretty much stopped. Like we haven't had any more like things like that in a long time, but now that I'm like closer to that rougher neighborhood, like I'm just nervous. I love the house I live in. I don't like the neighborhood. Like if I could just move my house, I would. I mean, granted, things did happen out there in the neighborhood I grew up in. Like when I was a kid, I woke up one time to gunshots because people down the street from us got broke into over drugs, and these teenage kids shot the man of the house who came out into his kitchen and found them there looking for drugs. That happened, and things happen, but things happen in every neighborhood. But this end of town is a lot rougher than the one I came from. Go ahead and let my hair down. I just don't know what I want to do with all this. Like I feel like I just need to chop it all off. Just getting too long. Excuse me. I love it and I hate it all at the same time. It's just like craziness. I just feel like it doesn't look good going up anymore. It's just a lot. Anyway, so I think that's it for this video. This is like my minimal makeup look that I've been doing lately. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you liked hearing about drugs. That's not really like a family-friendly topic, but that's where we ended up. Y'all know how I work here on my channel. We just kind of go everywhere. It's you never know what you're gonna get. So anyway, put my nose ring back in. I got it crooked. Oh, here we go. So I think that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you did enjoy. Let's see how the makeup turned out. It's nothing too, like, it's not too crazy. It's just like me, but better, like enhanced, you know, like my large pores and my redness is gone. And my eyebrows aren't patchy. I don't know what that accent is. So anyways, I'm rambling. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new, I hope you decide to hit that subscribe button down below. I'd love to have you here on a regular basis. Be one of my internet friends. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!